Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the third episode of Conversation with Vibration. This guest is a family man that has a lot of love for his community. He has been in the insurance industry for the last 7 years, has been on the board of the Fletcher Area Business Association for 6 years, and was just elected president of that association. He is also on the Hendersonville Chamber of Commerce board and is an ambassador. If you are in need of any type of insurance, he's the man to go to. You can stop by the office at 323 North Main Street in Hendersonville, or find him on the socials and shoot him a message. I am pleased to welcome Jared Bellmund of ALLCHOICE Insurance. Well, thanks for sitting down with me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So what all type of insurance do you offer here?
Yeah, so we're a pretty generalist agency. So we run the gamut, home, auto, life insurance, business insurance. So we really, each of us in the agency. So our agency goes across state from here in Hendersonville. We have offices in Winston, Salem, or Clemens, Greensboro, and in Wilmington. So we mounts to sea in North Carolina. But, each producer has their own little niche. So I work a lot more in the real estate industry, do a lot more with investors, and then a lot of small business. A lot of my networking is around the Chamber and Fletcher Area Business Association. And so it just leads to those connections. And so that's where I focus. Some of our producers focus more on contractors and, that kind of industry where you're dealing with builders, and we just wrote a few trucking policies this year, so that's been pretty good for us. So we're generalists. So so it's not. And then of course we do the personal lines, home, auto, umbrella, life insurance.
Okay, awesome. So it sounds like you kind of cover it all.
Yeah, we really do.
So how long have you been in the industry?
So I got in the industry in 2012, so seven and a half years now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So you know the business pretty good then?
Yeah, it's been, I started with North Carolina Farm Bureau, so great training, great programs to get started in. Was really blessed to have that opportunity just to there's a lot to learn.
Right.
So they have great programs, so came up in there, then I went independent in 2014 and have been independent since, and then started with ALLCHOICE Insurance in January.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm sure it's like any other industry, you really never stop learning, right?
No, yeah. So we're always taking it to the next level. So whether it be working on the business, so whether it be the marketing or the processes and systems, or really just making sure we're putting profit to the bottom line,
right?
Or learning new products. So this year has been a huge learning experience for commercial lines for me. When I was with Farm Bureau, just didn't feel they do a lot of they did then carbon copy paper for commercial policies, so just something I shied away from.
Yeah.
And then with my last independent agency, we just didn't have the carriers to really diversify with a lot of the commercial stuff.
Okay.
So now that I do have 4 or 5 quality carriers that I can write commercial stuff with, I've had to quickly learn those products and how they can help and solve needs of businesses locally. Okay.
So if you had to give someone advice that was looking to get in the industry, what would you give them?
Find a mentor, find someone that's been in it and have that conversation. There's so many different roles in the industry that you could step into. So you could step into an account management position where you're doing more of the service work and just really taking care of something that's already on the books. There's CSRs who are really just answering the phone, taking care of billing stuff. I don't want to say a receptionist role because they do so much more than that, right. But really focused on customer service and retention, and there's roles for that. And then of course there's the sales roles, which is a whole different beast in that. And so just figuring out where you want to land, and then there's so many different opportunities within the industry. So if you want to go into an independent P&C shop, if you want to work for a captive agency where you work for one specific company, or if you want to go into life and health, there's so many opportunities there too that you can get in and really just sell specific products.
Okay. So some opportunities will be hourly paid, some will be commission based.
Yeah, and I would say that the industry has done a better job of hiring in salary, training up before they put them commission only.
That definitely helps because I've
without
been
a
in
doubt.
industries where it's commission only, and that first year or two is rough.
Yeah, and I guess because I've started commission only, 2 years later went to a scratch agency with 0 clients, 0 commission coming in, and it was 100% commission, and then did it again this year.
Right.
I give a little clout to the guys that do that. I think I would say those are the best agents, but that's just me saying that because I know that it takes a little more to do that and stick.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
If you can find someone that has gone scratch and 100% commission and is still in the business after 2-3 years, then they've learned what they've had to learn and done what they had to do to be a quality agent.
Right. Yeah, that definitely shows a lot.
Yeah. It's a different beast than coming in and making salary. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd love to hire a salary agency manager and part-time salesperson that I could take care of and get them in. But yeah, but there's plenty of opportunities. So I guess to answer your original question of what advice I would say, it really would be find someone and have a good conversation with someone that's been in the industry and has gone the route you want to go. So I've talked to a couple college students who have talked about getting into the life insurance side of things and only selling life. And, they need to be aware of what that is and the world that is, because it's completely different than what I do. Having other ins with people outside of life insurance where I can go to a networking meeting and talk about their business or their auto policy. It's a little easier than just life insurance. I give a lot of credit to those guys that can grind that out year after year.
Yeah.
And there's different ways of making money. So with most life products, you don't get long-term residuals on those. Where an auto and home policy, as long as they're on your book and your rolls, you can continue to make residual. So it's just, it's different. Not one is better or worse than the other.
Yeah.
But understanding how the industry works like that is always good. I definitely know that there are people that sell things in this industry, like it is. I think it's great. I think it's a huge opportunity for anybody that gets into it. But sometimes that's oversold. Like, there's unlimited amount of money to be made.
Right.
And it's just not always that scalable, that there's unlimited amounts of money to be made.
Okay.
There's a huge amount of opportunity.
Right.
But you're not going to be making 6 figures your first year.
And I do think a lot of companies or even some people that aren't actually the company put off that picture that you can just walk in and, like you said, make over 6 figures in your first year. And to be able to do that, you really have to do something special to even come close to that.
I would say do something really special, or be the type of advisor that your clients really don't need, and you're just a salesperson.
And then that's not true representation
of what it should be.
Right.
I think the insurance industry for a long time has had a bad name of being that used car salesman, like get you into a policy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Coming from the real estate agent,
right?
Being a real estate agent, it's the same thing. They have a bad image as like the used car salesman type. So yeah, I definitely understand that.
Yeah, you got to do things right by your clients, and and that's making 6 figures your first year would be great, but making 6 figures for 10 years straight would be better.
Right.
So the clientele and keeping your roles clean and really just having a heart to take care of your clients over making money is really, the money will come when you do the right thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah, but a lot of people get in business just, they're young and they want to know how much money I can make, and that's. But yeah, so just understanding how the industry works would be a huge step in understanding if you're coming in the industry what you'd want to do and where you want to get started, because you don't always have to do that.
Right.
I didn't get started in the industry until I was 31, 32. So.
Okay.
So it was almost second career for me.
Right. So what did you do before insurance?
I was in restaurants. So I came up here to run a chain restaurant here in Asheville. Had been with that company for about 6 years, and was looking to settle down. And so they sent me up to Asheville. Met my wife. Well, she wasn't my wife then, but met my wife 10 days after moving here, and just realized that being in the restaurant industry was not going to be a long-term family move for where I would be moving forward. So that was, we've been married 7 years now. So that was about 9 years ago. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, really cool.
So you talked a little bit about starting over from the beginning to the independent agency to where you're at now. What are some of the things that you did to be successful in each of those transitions?
Yeah, that's a great question. So from the beginning, I was always good at sales, right? I don't love sales, but I'm good at it. So in a restaurant, I can sell anything, right? You're coming in to eat, you're hungry, I'm gonna get you.
Right.
Because you're already hungry and you're in my four walls. That's an easy sale.
Right.
So getting into insurance, I realized nobody's walking in my four walls. No one's coming hungry, and most of the time they're complaining about the price they're having to pay. So it was, that learning experience was important, but really having someone to sell was more important.
Right.
So I was given great advice to go out and create spheres of influence. So become somebody and become part of the community that you live in. And so I chose to do that. What I would say would be I don't want to say right or wrong, but what I think is the best way. I joined my daughter's school's PTO. I got involved with the Fletcher Area Business Association, which is a small business association. I got involved with the Henderson County Chamber.
Right.
Just put myself out there. But I got involved in things where I wanted to be engaged in anyway, right? So my daughter with the PTO, I thought to myself, hey, if I'm gonna be out in the community, I might as well be around my daughter more.
Right.
And so that was huge. And I mean, I still get referrals and new business from that organization. But my DNA is, if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna be in all the way. So I got involved with PTO and eventually was PTO president for 2 years.
Okay.
I got involved with the Fletcher Area Business Association. I've been on the board for 6 years and was just reelected for another 2 years to be president. I'm engaged with the Henderson County Chamber. I sit on the board. I'm an ambassador for the chamber. So I give it my all.
Right.
And that's what I really think is the best way to do it, is to get engaged, but not look for what I can get out of it, but look what I can give.
I think that's huge.
Yeah, it's just a different
value.
Way, right? And not just providing value where I'm an insurance salesman and I have products you need,
right?
But I'm a human in this community, and I love this community. So what can I give back to the community that either already is or will eventually, pay a premium that feeds my children?
Right.
And so I just think that that's important, and so I use a lot of local businesses. I network. I believe I'm a great connector of people, and that's really what allowed me to transition, was my strength within that. So getting started, that was the best way to get started, and then moving forward, it was once I became engaged and a leader within those organizations, it allowed me to take risks that I wouldn't have been able to go 100% scratch 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago now.
Right.
I would have never been able to do that without those connections and without those relationships that were supporting me in that. And not just from a referral and business, them transferring their business to me. It was also the support of just the emotional, stress that you go through in that transition. Just the need to feel supported and okay that you're stepping out, but
right.
There's a safety net there. I remember, when I left my first agency for my second, went independent, it wasn't a quick transition. I was looking for the right place to go. And I probably had 5 or 6 different people in those organizations say, well, go talk to this person, go talk to that person. They were really, and I didn't want those jobs, but the fact that they had my back, that I knew
right.
that if worst came to worst, I'd have a job.
Yeah.
It's nice because I have a family to provide for. So having a job is good.
Right.
And it allowed me to take the risk on the job. And the same thing this year. My 6 years of clients and relationships within the community and just the community as a whole allowed me to step out into to become a managing partner at ALLCHOICE and launch this agency here in Hendersonville.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you seem like you're a really confident guy, and I think confidence plays a big part into that as well. You have to be confident to be able to take that big step.
I think so. Yeah.
You can't be second guessing yourself.
There's got to be faith. I think if faith is a little more important than confidence. Confidence is good, but I think that faith comes from believing in, whatever internal I have spiritually, my belief in God and my belief in my community, that my community is there. I think that helps. Faith in my family, that my family supports that. Confidence doesn't hurt.
Right.
But I think you could be super confident and still not believe in what you're doing.
Okay.
And so having that faith that no matter what, this community's not going to let me down.
Right.
I mean, we live in an amazing community in an amazing place, and so it's just special like that. Relationships are really important here. So.
That's awesome. That's what I've heard a lot. That there's a lot of support within the community.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's the reason I started this podcast, was because I saw how many local businesses there are, and it takes support from the community to keep all those local businesses going.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So that was a big part of why I moved here.
Awesome.
Also was I've heard nothing but great things about the community here.
Yeah. We have our own fair share of troubles.
Well, of course, everywhere does.
But everywhere does, yeah. Far outweighed by the greatness of the place.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm living in Arden, so I'm kind of halfway between Hendersonville and Asheville.
Yeah, I'm in Fletcher, so we're right there.
Okay. Yeah, which is nice because I can go either way,
Right.
And I do want to reach out and get involved in this community as well as the community in Asheville. And I think, the chambers and different stuff like that is a great place to get started. Back when I was in Arizona, I was involved in chambers, went to all the, monthly mixers and stuff like that. I was on the board at my local real estate association. So I know what you mean by getting involved and just really building those organic connections. You get connected to those people that you're doing that with.
Right, without doubt. I hear people, I use the term business peers a lot just because it's a broad stroke word.
Right.
But I hear family and friends as often as peers, business peers or business.
And that is really what it turns into.
And it really does, yeah. I really think that there is a family of businesses here and a friendship amongst businesses big and small. It's not just, a lot that I hear is, the small businesses here are close. But I think the larger businesses here are close also.
Okay, that's amazing.
I'm amazed at how much industry and manufacturing are here and engaged, that they get out in the community and they do things and show up. And it's the same thing with our local municipalities. They're engaged with the economy and the business also, which is
that's great.
Special.
Yeah. That makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Huge. Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah. We wouldn't have companies like Sierra Nevada coming in to
Right.
our backyard if it wasn't, or GE sticking around. There's some special stuff going on here.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's talk about what you do for marketing. I know we kind of talked about that a little bit before we turned on the cameras and stuff here, but what all do you do for marketing to get clients, get more business?
Yeah, so several years ago, with the agency I was in, I kind of teetered on what was more important, having a personal brand or having an agency brand. And at that point, I wasn't an owner, and so it was easy to say personal brand. So I immediately went all in on social and digital marketing for my personal brand. So and it really is just an attention grab. It's really, can you look at me more than you look at everybody else? And, and there's a responsibility to that, right? So look at me, but look at me the right way. So, I truly believe in not villainizing my competition. Yes, sometimes a little jab's okay. I really believe in working together in a community. I really believe in being a part and a leader in the community. And so that's what I showed as my personal brand. And so I just defined who I was and communicated that through digitally.
Right.
But spent a lot of time learning what was the best way to communicate that digitally. And So I'm on every platform. You can't not find me, whether it be Facebook, Instagram. I'm on TikTok. My daughter's not happy about it, but I'm on there.
Yeah, TikTok's it's getting big.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the answer of how insurance agents are going to use it to sell, but
there's tons of organic reach on
yeah, and it's for a personal brand thing. I think if I was a dancer or more creative, I'd be using it a lot more.
Right.
It's definitely a cool platform, but there's no reason not to know it. When Snapchat was before they had their big dip after some controversy. Before that, the 6 months before that, I wrote a ton of ATVs and recreational vehicles and tiny homes off Snapchat because that's where those people were, and it was crazy. People would be at a ATV dealership and they'd take a picture of the vehicle and saying, "Hey, can you insure this?" on Snapchat. It was
that's crazy.
It was nuts, and nobody does that for over a year now, probably a year and a half. I haven't seen any of that. But to my point is, I might as well be on TikTok. Might as well be. Right. If I grab any attention because I'm on there, then it's not bad.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think from a marketing standpoint, I think the digital presence is great. I think Google is becoming ensuring that you optimize your business from a Google sense is just, if you're not doing it, you're missing out. Most of it's free and just pretty basic stuff that you could do to be found in your community. And there's always more and more and more that you can pay for or do more and ramp it up. But I know as a small business that there's a ton that I get found for that we just did for free and spending a little time at night, watching a few YouTube videos and learning what we're doing. Talking to a few other professionals in other industries to see what they're doing to make sure we're doing it right.
Right.
But yeah, and then I think marketing is getting back. I think direct mail has is coming back. I think because it's we just ordered thank you cards or just note cards with our brand on it because
I think those are huge.
Yeah, I mean people don't
do
do it anymore. So now when you do it, you're different. It's what social media was 10 years ago, right? Wow, they're on social media. Or they, what website was 15 years ago. Wow, they have a nice website. Now a nice website doesn't matter, right? It needs to be optimized. It needs to be mobile friendly. It needs to be useful. It has to serve a purpose to engage. Right. So there's so much to that where you saw 10 years ago, if your mailer wasn't perfect, and didn't have a different size of everything else. It didn't look like junk mail. You were just, people hated junk mail.
Right.
I say now the phone. Nobody likes to answer their phone.
I was just doing cold calling yesterday, and I stopped after a few because I was like, you know what, these people, they don't want these calls.
Right, and I don't have anything against cold calling. I think door knocking is great, but it serves a purpose.
Right.
It serves a purpose. But it's the same thing. Like I could send a bunch of emails and then I can make a few phone calls. But if I'm just robo-dialing, you're just going to flush out people. So many people, if they don't know the number, they don't answer.
Right.
So you're just getting voicemail anyway.
Yeah.
And nowadays, you could find a VoIP system that'll do automated voicemails for you. So if you just want to leave voicemails, you can do that.
Like slide dial.
Yeah, barely even ring in. And then they have a voicemail from you and they hear your voice. That's great. And you didn't bother them. So,
how do you feel about text messaging?
I love text messaging.
I think the open rate percentage on text messaging.
It's so high.
It's over 90%.
Yeah, it's
sure.
It's great. And, it's Gary V's doing it now, so it's going to be
I was going to bring up who you watch and stuff, and I was listening to Gary V on the way here.
Yeah. I think Gary V is onto something. I think if you're a business and we use text message. It's said it on our business cards for over a year now. Text us here.
Yeah.
So we have a text line, and because of that, we're updating our phone system to ensure that that's a smoother and better. Because now that we're advertising it, it's clunky what we have now. We want it smooth and seamless and
you have to
connect it up. Yeah, but we see people like communicating that way. I'll send 3 emails and not get a response, and I'll send a text and within minutes get a response.
Right.
It's. What I tell people marketing is it's all about attention. It's all about response rate. Track those 2 things. Know who's watching you and what they're doing and why they're doing it, and know where people are engaging you. And if you can track engagement correctly, you're going to win the game. That's it. That's all it is increased engagement and relationships, and knowing how to, once you get it, make it more quality, right? So just having someone like a thing on Facebook is great, but having them comment is even better.
Right, more engagement.
Right, so getting a like, okay, a like to me is, I always, we all like it, right? That ding in the pocket. But when someone comments, that means something to me. Like, I laugh at businesses that don't reply to comments.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you reply to all your comments?
100%. For me, it's, if you're going to take the time out of your day to respond to some content I created, then now you're my number one priority, right? Because I'm not Gary Vee, right? I'm not getting thousands of comments on every thread. If I get one, that's huge. Instagram, if I get 5 or 6, that's huge.
Right.
So you're getting a response. A marketing tactic I use is I engage others. I think in this region of West North Carolina, engagement is weak, and people don't engage. People don't respond.
Okay.
And so I urge them to, right? So I do a lot of business with investors and real estate marketers, or real estate agents and loan officers. And so I'll go on their site, and they post a house or a showing.
Right.
I'm going to comment. I'm going to say, "Wow, that's a beautiful view," and see
if you can start that engagement.
Yeah. And I'm amazed at how, because you saw how excited I got when someone's like, "Yeah, you comment on mine." Everybody gets excited, right? Everybody likes to be engaged with.
Yeah.
And so if you flip your marketing as ALLCHOICE, I'm going to engage with you, and not expect you to engage with me. We'll engage on your stuff, right? Like, I'll make you feel good. I don't need to feel good, because it's business, right? My feelings don't matter.
Right.
And I think that creates an environment where, in the community, people see me and they're like, "We've never met." I'm like, "Yeah, but we know each other," Or people are like, "We've met before," and I'm like, "Never, I've never met before."
But they feel like they
know me, right?
Yeah.
And that's perfect. That's exactly what I want to do. I joke with one of my good buddies and say, if I meet somebody and they don't know who I am, then I failed. Because if you're at a chamber event, especially a FABA event, if you're at any networking event where I'm engaged already, and I don't have you hooked in and you're not new, then I failed if you don't know me. It's a small community. How am I not grabbing your attention at least a little bit already?
Right.
And you're not going to be 100%, but you want to do as much as you can. I think newsletters are coming back. I've been sending out a weekly newsletter for just over 3 months now, and I love it. I love it. People engage it. People open it.
How are you sending that out? Email?
Email. Yeah. So it's going to email, which I was worried about. But it goes out, and it's about a 15% open rate.
That's pretty good.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's simple. I took a very simple platform, and really it's the best of my week. And so instead of just regurgitating words on a page, I broke it down very simply, put some local news in there, put my top content for the week, put a lot of personal stuff, so it's really about me and not the business.
Right. I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's all my personal content, so it's all personal branding stuff. And then it's like what I'm listening to. So if I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to music, what that is, what I'm watching with the family, that's in there. And then
that's interesting.
Yeah. And then my intro is just what happened the last week. So this last week was blah blah blah. On Monday, this happened. On Thursday, this happened. On Saturday, Appalachian won again. Have a great week, or this upcoming week, a quick sentence or two, and have a good week. And people have responded well to it, and and so I think it's partly because it's personal, right? And it's engaging. I try to ask questions.
Yeah.
But I was asked how many people respond to that, and I would say in any given week, it's somewhere between 0 and 5.
Right. But the response isn't necessarily what you're looking for.
No, not at all. It's great, but what's more important to me is when I see someone out in the community and they have something to talk to me about because of that newsletter.
Right.
So now it's an easy conversation, and they want to know about me, and I'm not asking, because when I go into a networking event, I'm not there for me. I want to meet other people. I want to know about other people. I want to see what opportunities I can. I want to build relationships. So, I have a rule of 5. And so it used to be meet 3 people, find 2 people I already know, and build relationships with those 2. It's kind of flipped a little bit now because 7 years of networking, small town.
Right, you know a lot of people.
Right, a lot of times it's if I could find 2 people and then build relationships with 3, because an hour and a half event, that fills up your time pretty quickly.
Right.
And so when I go into that network event, that's my purpose. It's not to hand out business cards and sell myself.
Right, push yourself.
Yeah. And so the newsletter has allowed that when I do approach and build that relationship, they already know what's going on with me.
Right. They're like, hey, I saw this. Yeah.
So
what's going on here? How's this?
Right. So they can ask specific questions about me instead of the generic. So one, they're comfortable and have something to say. 2, they already know what's going on in my life, so we don't have to talk about me. We can talk about you, which everybody likes to do, which is great. Or 3, it's back and forth between the 2 of, hey, what's going on with you? Hey, I watched this with my son too. We just watched A New Hope, and it was great. My son just found out that last week that Darth Vader was Luke's father. Which is, he had nothing but questions about it all week.
Nice.
So So tonight we watch. What's the third one? After The Empire Strikes Back. Man, I'm not. The Ewoks. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel really bad now. But I know he's going to be blown away to find out that, Leia's Luke's brother or sister, that they're siblings. So it's always fun. But, to have those conversations with people randomly, I'm like, oh, that's right. How do you know so much about me? But it's good, and so that's my marketing, is really just that over-engagement, be part of the community. And it ties in hand in who I am, and my purpose in it is that I want to be a leader in a community. You can't be a leader in a community if people don't know who you are. Being known, liked, and trusted is business in a nutshell.
Exactly.
And so being liked, I have little control over whether you like me or not, right? Because I am who I am.
Right.
That's not true. I could be someone I'm not.
Yeah.
I choose not to be, right? So my philosophy is, you're going to like me or not. But it's not going to be that you don't like me because you don't know me, right? So you're going to know who I am, what I stand for, and what I do, and hopefully you like me for that, right?
Right.
Everybody likes to be liked. I like to be liked. And then the trust part comes from then proving myself, right? So ask for an opportunity, and then the trust, I don't think it can be asked for, it has to be proven.
Right, you have to build that trust,
Right. And so that's doing the actual work, right? That's me having a business and a agency that can knock it out of the park, right?
Yeah.
Consistently.
Right. So
that's my marketing.
Awesome.
In a nutshell, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems to be working.
I hope so. Yeah. It's worked so far.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with marketing is, you just can't say for the next year I'm going to do this. Last February, the Facebook algorithm changed, and my whole plan for 2019 went out the window.
Right.
Just was, and luckily it was, I just can do less, and it was okay. But things change, so you gotta stay on top of it. You gotta know what's going on. Finding a real expert. There's too many people that call themselves marketing experts. So finding the right one that knows what you're doing, understands what you're doing, and the purpose of what you're doing, and learn what, like you said, always be learning.
Right. Yeah, never stop learning.
Yeah.
So you obviously consume Gary Vee content.
Yeah.
What are some other influencers, type people that you listen
so this
to?
year, Story Brand, Donald Miller, and JJ Peterson, just blown away by that theory of marketing and storytelling. They're over, I won't do it justice to explain it, but it really, Donald Miller talks about being the guide instead of the hero. So being Obi-Wan Kenobi instead of Luke, right? Because Luke's the hero, right? At the end, he shoots the laser in and he wins the day. But he was, in the beginning, he wasn't who you wanted to be the hero, right? And Obi-Wan Kenobi is the one that got him from not being the hero to being the hero, right?
Right.
And so as a business, we should want to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, not Luke, right? Our client should be Luke. And so just blew me away. And then what even more is I dig in, because I'm someone who just can't surface level. And his book was a pretty good read. I feel like I flew through it, but then I dug in. And when I started digging in, listening to his podcast, researching other stuff, it's thousands of year old, stories. It's not like he invented storytelling.
Right.
He's just figuring out how to communicate well to businesses, how to use storytelling in marketing. And so he's been someone I consumed a lot this year.
Okay.
There's some guys in the industry that I consume. A couple podcasts. Babylon is a group that does that. Be Atomic, the Insurance Guys podcast. So those are all guys that are doing great things and are sharing, which is always good. To find someone in your industry that is sharing what has worked for them,
right,
and what's been a success for them. So I always appreciate that, and I'm super grateful for that. And then Michael Hyatt this year has been, but he's more, I don't want to say time management, but like life management, focusing on getting tasks accomplished and just being better. Really 2019 was more, less about marketing growth for me. I feel like I had a good handle on, I always am, but really focused more on how can I be the best person I am, whether it be at home with my family or my relationship with God, with work and clients in the community, whatever it is, just trying to make that all mesh together,
right,
and be better myself. And so from that, I think my content has gotten better, the way I communicate has gotten better. And so those things have been really a lot of what I consumed this year.
Okay.
To be honest, I dropped off Gary Vee in 2019, man.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay though. It seems like you got.
I think
his message is the same.
Right.
He'll even say that.
It's not new.
Once you have his concept down.
And you can say, his text message thing is pretty new, and I've heard of it, but I'm not listening to his podcasts on a regular basis or over consuming it. And a lot of it has to do with it doesn't all apply to me, or I've already learned that lesson, and so let's move on. There's a guy in our industry, Ryan Hanley, who deep dives a lot of marketing, a lot of self-betterment stuff, and so he's always good. But for me, it's like Donald Miller with StoryBrand. My favorite thing about him or his podcast is that I more often than not, while I'm listening to that podcast, I get on Amazon and order a new book.
Okay.
Because he's just always throwing something new out there.
Right.
That I want to look into and read and learn more about. So that's really, StoryBrand was 2019. That was a big learn for me this year. So you should check it out.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out.
Yeah, Donald Miller is impressive. He's a great podcast, great guest on his podcast. JJ Peterson, I guess, is his chief operating officer, or I don't know what his exact role is, but just super smart guy. And their program is really good. They just really make things simple and easy to consume for business leaders, and it's good stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check it out.
Yeah.
Well, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, man, we hit the gamut, didn't we? We could do this for hours, right?
Right.
Well, appreciate you coming by, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me in your office. And since I just moved here, I'm going to get involved in some of the community events and stuff, so I'm sure I'll be seeing you around
excellent.
there.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll get you invited to some. Get you connected. So
awesome.
It's important.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That was awesome.